In this lesson, we are going to write the command chatgpt that selects and displays the prompt buffer at the bottom of the frame. And we are going to define the mode chatgpt-mode and use it in the prompt buffer. So far, we've been using the buffer star chatgpt star to enter the prompt that we send to OpenAI. We will continue to do that, but instead of selecting that buffer with the command switch to buffer, we are going to use a new command, chatgpt, that we are going to write right now, that also displays that buffer at the bottom of the frame. So let's go into the file chatgpt.l and start playing with Emacs Lisp. So we want a buffer, get buffer create, and we want star chatgpt star, and this create the buffer if it doesn't exist or just only select it. Now we want to display it with the function display buffer at bottom. First argument is the buffer, and the last one, the action list, is nil for now. Let's evaluate that expression, and we see that this display that buffer at the bottom of the frame. Now, if we have two windows side by side and we evaluate that expression, it also displays the buffer at the bottom of both windows. Let's continue. Now, we are going to change the action list, no longer nil, and we want display like that, buffer and buffer below the selected, and we want the window height to be of 6. So now we are going to evaluate that expression, and that displays the buffer but in a smaller window at the bottom of the frame. Okay, we can note that or notice that we didn't selected the window, so the point is still at the window at the top. So if we want to select that prompt buffer, we need to change a little bit our code. So we do that like that, and we select the window, because display buffer at bottom is a function that returns the windows that it displays. So we have this, and now we evaluate that expression. This display again the buffer at the bottom, but this time the point is on the new displayed buffer. So that's great, and now we just have to transform that in a function. So we use the macro define. The function, we call it chatgpt, which takes no argument. The docstring can be select the prompt buffer. Maybe we can say display and select the prompt buffer. Like this, it's okay. And we want it to be a command, so we need to put interactive. So now this is going to be a command. We evaluate that expression which define chatgpt, and let's call that command chatgpt, and we get what we wanted, which is it displays the prompt buffer at the bottom of the frame, and it also selects it. Now we can define the measure mode chatgpt-mode that we are going to use in the prompt buffer. So far in the prompt buffer we've been using the mode fundamental mode, and we can check that but going into that buffer and checking in the mini buffer the value of the variable measure mode, and now we see in the echo area that that value is equal to fundamental mode. So let's go back into chatgpt.l file and define that mode. Define derived mode. We want to call it chatgpt mode. We want it to derive from markdown mode, and we are going to call it chatgpt in the mode line, and a docstring could be simply chatgpt mode. So we evaluate that expression which defines the mode chatgpt mode, and we want in chatgpt command, after we've selected the prompt buffer, to call chatgpt-mode to make it the major mode of that buffer. So we evaluate that expression, which redefine chatgpt command, and now let's call chatgpt command, and this select the buffer at the bottom, the prompt buffer, and also this run chatgpt mode. So now if we go in the mini buffer and we check again major mode, we should see in the echo area chatgpt mode. Before we continue, we are going to introduce a new variable, chatgpt-model, that we are going to use in chatgpt request function instead of the GPT-4o hard-coded value. So let's define that variable, define a chatgpt-model, and we want GPT-4o, and let's put it a docstring which is OpenAI model. Okay, so we evaluate that expression. Now we have a ChatGPT model which is defined to GPT-4o, and we are going to change that value in ChatGPT request. And now we want a comma, and we want a ChatGPT. Okay, this one, GPT model. So perfect. In the mini buffer, we are going to evaluate the following expression to check if we did a correct job. So ChatGPT request, and maybe the prompt can be just foo. So we evaluate that, and we see that the model in the request return is GPT-4o, which should be normal because we set ChatGPT model to GPT-4o. Now let's define differently that variable with like that. So set q the ChatGPT model, and now we are going to put GPT-4o mini. So this is a model that really exists. We evaluate that, and we are going to call again ChatGPT request foo, and we see now in the echo area that the model of the request returned by the ChatGPT request is GPT-4o mini. In this section, we are going to modify the information displayed in the mod line of the prompt buffer. Indeed, as now we have a variable ChatGPT model that holds the model that we use in the request that we send to OpenAI, it would be great to have that information in the mod line of the prompt buffer. So to do that, we are going to modify the mode chatgpt-mode, and specifically we are going to set the variable mod line format. And this is going to be a list, first element a space, then we want mod line buffer identification. Basically, this is the buffer name, another space. Now, the information that we really want, which is ChatGPT model in the mod line, another space, and this variable mod line misc info, which can be used by any command to add some information in mod line that have that variable in their mod line format. So now we evaluate that whole expression which redefine ChatGPT mode. We call ChatGPT, which will run again ChatGPT mode in the prompt buffer, and now we can see that the mod line has been modified, and we have the information that we ask for. So the buffer name and the ChatGPT model. Before we continue, let's improve a little bit the existing code. We can start with the function ChatGPT that displays and selects the prompt buffer, and notice that each time we call that function, we also execute ChatGPT mode function. And this is not necessary, so we are going to change that to execute ChatGPT mode only the first time when we create this buffer, start ChatGPT star. So let's modify ChatGPT mode just to verify that when we do the change in the function ChatGPT, this will work correctly. So now we evaluate that expression, and each time we execute ChatGPT mode, we'll see foo in the echo area. So let's check that. So we call ChatGPT and we see we have foo in the echo area. If we close that buffer and we do that again, we see again foo. So that means that ChatGPT mode is executed each time we call ChatGPT. We are going to change that right now. So here we are going to add a variable that maybe can be buff name. So buff name is going to be this one, so we can use it here right now. Buff name. Again, we modify the let into a let star. So this one works still. Buff p, and that variable will hold if the buffer already exists or not. And we can use the function get buffer and we pass it buff name, and if buff name doesn't exist, this function will return nil. And so buff p will be nil, and in that case we want to execute ChatGPT mode. If it's returned true, we don't execute ChatGPT mode. So now we go there and we say when not true, the buff p, when this is nil, like that, we want to execute ChatGPT mode. So we evaluate that expression which redefine ChatGPT, and now we're going to call ChatGPT and observe that we see nothing in the echo area. So ChatGPT mode has not been evaluated that time. Let's kill that buffer and call ChatGPT again and see if we see foo in the echo area. So now we see foo in the echo area, which signifies that this is working as intended. And to do it correctly till the end, we remove this message in ChatGPT mode and we evaluate that expression to redefine ChatGPT mode correctly. The final improvement we can make to the existing code before we talk about the variable chatgpt-mode-map is the following. Each time we call the command chatgpt-send, we execute the function make directory, which checks if chatgpt-dir directory exists or not. If it doesn't exist, it will create it. The thing is, after the first call, the other call to make directory are unnecessary because chatgpt-dir directory will at that moment already exist. So we move out of that function, that expression. We evaluate that whole expression which redefines chatgpt-send, and now we are going to create that directory in ChatGPT mode. We evaluate that expression which redefines ChatGPT mode, and now what happens is that when we call ChatGPT command for the first time in an Emacs session, we are going to create the prompt buffer and also call the function ChatGPT-mode. This will execute the function make directory, which will check if chatgpt-dir exists or not. If it doesn't exist, it will create it. But this happens only once. So this is what we want. Now, we jump into the prompt buffer, we kill it, we go into the directory where we have the chatgpt-dir request, we removed it, and now we call the command chatgpt. We see that the prompt buffer pops up, and also the directory request has been created. So this is what we wanted. And now let's enter the prompt hello and call chatgpt-send to be sure that this is still working as expected. And now we can go into that directory request, and we see that we have a new request and with a response. Let's jump into the buffer chatgpt request, this one, and we see that this is working absolutely fine. Finally, we are going to bind the keystrokes Ctrl+C to the command chatgpt-send in the keymap chatgpt-mode-map, such that in the prompt buffer, we will just have to press Ctrl+C to send a request to OpenAI. Let's do that. So we are going to define the variable chatgpt-mode-map like this. Now we want we want a map which is going to be a sparse map. Okay, so we have that, and now in that let binding we want to define a key in the map, and we want it to be Ctrl+C, Ctrl+C, and we want to bind Ctrl+C, Ctrl+C to ChatGPT send command. And now to set ChatGPT-mode-map to that map, we return the map itself. The docstring of that variable can be keymap of ChatGPT mode. Okay, we have that. So now we evaluate that expression which defines that mode map. We go into, we call ChatGPT such that it pops the prompt buffer, and in the prompt buffer we are going to call ChatGPT mode such that mode map is taken into account. And now let's just press Ctrl+C, Ctrl+C, and this send a request to OpenAI. And we see in the echo area that we've written the file response.json, and now we're going to check here in the request directory that we have one more that previously, and we go into that buffer and we see that we've received a new response from OpenAI. Thanks to the work that we've done in that lesson, the package ChatGPT is starting to look pretty good. Now we have the command ChatGPT that displays and selects the prompt buffer at the bottom of the frame, in which we can enter a prompt that we can send to OpenAI by pressing the keys Ctrl+C, Ctrl+C. Next time, we will modify the function ChatGPT send such that when we receive a response from OpenAI, the buffer ChatGPT request pops up.